From the heart of Wayne County, this is Wayne Goldsboro Television, Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Today is Wednesday. It is the 7th of the month of September 2016, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
And I said that a little too quickly. It is the 7th of September, comma,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I left the comma out. I'm all bad about that.
You are.
Hey, one of my favorite events is coming up on the 30th, the end of the month. It is the Shriners Children's Hospital's fundraiser. It is the Shriners Fish Fry coming up on the 30th. That's a Friday. And you talk about some good eating. They start at 11 o'clock, they go till 2, then they crank it back up at 4, and they go to 7 p.m. Delicious fried fish, coleslaw, potato salad, and hush puppies. And if you eat in at Herman Park Center, you get iced tea or water. They also have that dessert table there that'll just knock your socks off with delicious desserts there. And anyway, that's going on from 11 till 2 and 4 till 7 p.m. on September 30th. Now, it's only $8 a plate, but let me ask you to do this. Give them a little extra. Give them a little extra. Net proceeds will benefit the children's hospitals, the Shriners Children's Hospitals. The nearest one in Greenville, South Carolina. They've got them in Cincinnati. There's 22 all around us, all across the country. But did you know that if you, whatever you gave over the $8 plate, all that money will also go to the Children's Hospital?
Wonderful.
It is wonderful.
It's a big effort here in Wayne County, and there's drive-through takeouts available at Goldsboro and drive-through takeouts in Mount Olive over at Highway 55, which is right next to Robert's Machine Shop.
Yeah, right across from the food line there, across the street there.
There you go.
And in Herman Park, you can drive through. And it doesn't take any time at all if you're driving through. Now, here's an idea for you. I've got an idea for managers.
Okay.
For managers, treat your staff.
I like it.
Treat your staff. If you've got 10 people, what's that going to cost you? $80 for crying out loud? They love you for life. Treat them to a lunch. How about that? Just get somebody to go over and pick up 8 or 10 or 12 or ever how many employees you have, meals of these delicious fish dinners, lunches, and it's certainly for a worthy cause. The Shriners Children's Hospitals benefit from this, as I said, and there's Wayne County citizens who have actually been in the hospital, these children's hospitals, who have received help and received treatment from the Shriners. And, well, not from the Shriners, but from the doctors at the hospital.
That's right, but from the funds raised through the efforts of the Shriners.
Exactly. So, again,
put
that on your calendar. I go every year to lunch, and then I go back
and then he goes for dinner. I know
a
lot of people that do that.
I
know a lot of people that would do the takeout at lunch, and then when they get off work or for dinner time, they'll swing by and do the drive-through then and then take it home and eat it.
Yes.
So. You can, lots of options.
And I give a little extra, too.
That's wonderful. You always do, Wayne. You always give a little extra.
Okay. We talked yesterday about the Travel and Tourism Office offering tours of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, and I want to give you a phone number now for Goldsboro, Wayne Goldsboro Travel and Tourism. It's 919-734-7922, 734-7922. If you'd like to tour Seymour Johnson. Now, I think you made the point that you need to have 25 people.
Right, but if you don't have 25 people in your group, still contact Amber Hoggard with Travel and Tourism, and she will work with you on getting you on the schedule. So they're not one-on-one. They take groups of 25, and a lot of times churches or civic organizations will get a group together, but certainly if you are a party of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, contact Amber, and she'll work with you on the details.
That's right. I'll put you on the list, too, for
That's
that.
right.
Just in case somebody comes up and they only have 20 people or 23 people, then
That's right.
there you go. You can
That's
join
right.
that
It's a
group.
wonderful opportunity.
All right. We're going to go to our interview up next on Wayne Goldsboro Television.
Today we're at 207 East Chestnut Street in Goldsboro, which happens to be the address of our Wayne County Sheriff's Office. And we're here today with George Williams. George, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Wayne. Good to see you. Glad to be here.
Appreciate you talking with us.
Thank you.
We want to talk to you about a special event that's going to be coming up.
Yeah.
And this was your idea. You're putting it together, and you're getting since everybody's found out about your idea, you're getting a lot of support, a lot of help. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, back the latter part of June, I began to think about how much I appreciated our law enforcement. And I often thought about the times that when I served on a rescue squad for 15 years, back in the late 80s and early 90s, of how much I appreciated the efforts that they gave and provided for us squad boys. They oftentimes kept us from getting hurt, I imagine, with guns, the way people handled guns and knives and everything else, and I appreciated it so much, and I oftentimes didn't tell them thank you enough. So I decided I'd get together a crew, a committee, a steering committee, and I went to work on it, and I talked to my daughter. She and I decided we'd get a group together, so I got 4 more members to join me, and this is where we are. We're going to have a lunch for all the law enforcement officers in the county, city police, deputy sheriffs, highway patrol. Everyone in the county is going to be invited on September the 8th at the Wayne Center. And we're going to just have a dinner and show them how much we appreciate them for what they've done and what they're going to do in the future. And I look forward to that dinner.
Well, George, I'll tell you what, that sounds like a great idea, and there's already a lot of people involved. Where's the food coming from?
The food's coming from McCall's Barbecue, and we're going to have barbecue and fried chicken, potatoes, and slaw and hush puppies and iced tea and water, about anything. We'll feed everybody. Randy said he had enough food to feed every county officer in this county.
And as Grandpa Jones used to say, yum, yum.
Yeah, that's right, yum, yum. But Randy said he could take care of all the food, so I'm hoping to get at least 200 or more. And so we're going to start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and run until 7, and down at the Wayne Center. The feeding will be there, and the only thing we're going to do is just come in and eat, and you can leave when you get through eating if you want to. We're hoping to have some officials from the state here, but we don't know for sure on that yet, but that's what we're working for now. So I just look for a great evening, a great time. My committee consists of my daughter, Denise Combs, and she works for Wayne Surgical Associates here in town, office manager there. And then Sheriff Larry Pierce's better half, Miss Rita.
She is much better.
Yeah, she's better. And then Susie Daniels, who's the wife of Jeff Daniels,
yep.
And then retired police chief Jackie Wark.
Jackie Wark.
That's the 5 of us that's on the committee, and we're going to have a meeting this coming week and this week and get everything ironed out. We think we got pretty much everything ironed out already, but we're going to ask for donations from any individual or business. We already have some churches that are volunteering to make an offering for, and we're just telling them we want you to feed a cop.
Feed a cop.
Feed a cop on September the 8th.
You know, George, for as long as anybody can ever remember, there's been law enforcement everywhere.
Yep, that's right.
As long as from way back in colonial times,
That's right.
and further back.
Right.
But do you really know what they do? And I would venture to say that most people are not aware of the day-to-day routine that our law enforcement goes through, and that's a sheriff, that's the sheriff's office, that's local police. Each department, each community has its own police department.
Right.
The hospital has a police office. The school, the Wayne Community College and University of Mount Olive, they all have security and police. But these people, most people just don't know everything that they go through and what they have to put up with. It's not an easy job, and
No.
it's a tough job. And
they don't get paid half what they deserve.
No, they certainly don't. And I would hope that most people would at least have the spirit to go up and thank a police officer or a law enforcement official or a sheriff's officer. Thank them for what they do.
Yeah.
They're protecting you and me. They're
That's
protecting
right.
us.
And even, Wayne, I had an experience just 3 weeks ago. I ran up on a roadblock here in town, and it was quite a few city police officers there. And of course, they were checking driver's license. And I handed my driver's license to this young man, and he looked at it and he said, "You can go, Mr. Williams." I said, "Well, I want to tell you, I appreciate the good job you guys are doing." And he stopped. He said, of course, he knew what my name was because he just looked at my driver's license. He said, "Mr. Williams, I've never had anybody tell me that before."
That's a crying shame.
Never before.
I always thank
him.
him.
Well, I thank you.
I thank him every time I see him.
Amen. Me too, buddy.
Every time I go through a traffic check or anything like that, I thank the officer there for what they're doing, because they're in danger right there.
Exactly
Anything could
right.
happen at that point. These people put their lives on the line for us. Yeah, they get paid for it, but they don't have to. They could do something. They could do anything.
That's right.
And let me tell you. Let me get on my soapbox here just a minute, George.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
There's very few things that really irritate me, but one thing that I have to admit really gets under my skin is for a parent to try and correct a child by saying, "Don't do that. I'll get a policeman to come put you in jail."
Yeah.
Or I'll get somebody to come take you away.
Yeah.
And it frightens the child into thinking that the law enforcement is not their friends.
That's
well,
right.
law enforcement is your friend, my friend.
Exactly.
They are your friend.
Exactly.
And you have to understand that. And don't ever, ever tell a child that somebody's going to take them and put them in jail, because it scares the child. It makes them think that law enforcement is not their friends.
That's right.
Well, you got to stop doing that. And I don't want to hear anybody say that.
At age 77, which is what I am.
Get out of here.
77, I have always admired law enforcement. Highway patrolmen, city cops. Yeah, I've made some mistakes. I've done some things that was wrong, and I've got caught. But
No,
it's been
not
very,
you.
very, very, very few times. And I've never been into jail but one time in Wayne County, and that was when I went on a rescue call to pick up somebody that tried to hurt themselves.
Right.
The only time I ever been into jail. But I've lived here all of my life. I've been a resident of the county. I've served on the boards with Crime Stoppers Board. I've served on the board with Red Cross. Served for 15 years on the rescue squad, and I just continue to want to do something for somebody else. That's what my mother and dad always taught me.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, you know, George, everybody makes mistakes.
That's right.
And even people who end up behind bars, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean they're bad people.
That's
it
right.
just simply means they made a mistake.
Yeah.
Now, the second, third, or fourth time, that's different.
That's
but
exactly
if they
right.
end up there the first time, anybody can make a mistake. So the message is, don't be afraid of law enforcement, because indeed they are your friends. And for crying out loud, if a law enforcement person, male, female, whatever, tells you to stop,
Stop.
you stop right there.
That's right.
If he said put your hands up, you put your hands up.
That's
Don't run.
You're
That's the
right.
worst thing in the world you can
You're
do.
right. I sat when the Dallas episode came on TV and watched the newspaper, and 5 people lost their lives in Dallas. And since then, you know, Wayne, we have had a loss in the United States in law enforcement officers. The last count I had last week was 34. And probably...
That's in recent days. That's recent.
And recently we've had a third to almost a half of that in the last 2 or 3 months.
Yes.
And if it keeps going at that rate, it just makes me sick to think about it. We've got people in this United States, thank God we don't have them in North Carolina so far, but we may have. We may have them right here in Wayne County. And I told the sheriff, I'd hate to see CNN or Fox News or ABC or NBC come camp out here in front of the courthouse because of some law officer been shot and killed.
I'm going to say
I
something.
dread that.
Let me say this. There have been times, and I have heard recently, where some of our law enforcement people have been threatened.
Oh, yeah.
That happens every day.
Every day.
Every single day they're threatened.
Yep.
What do? Do they go home and hide?
Nope.
No.
Come right back to work the next
They
day.
come back to work and they do their job. These people are their jobs and their lives are on the line here.
That's right.
They've got to do their job. So when a law enforcement person, police, sheriff, highway patrol, whatever, tells you to stop, you follow
Stop.
instructions, you stop. If he
Exactly.
tells you to put your hand on your head, you put your hands on your head. It's like doing the hokey pokey, I
That's
guess,
right.
isn't it?
That's right. Do what they say.
Do what they say.
Let me give you one other tip. I want to tell everybody, if you would like to make a contribution to our efforts, our goal is approximately $4,000 for everything.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
not much of a
Approximately
goal. It's not
$4,000.
much
It's
of a-
not a whole lot.
not a
In
whole
fact,
lot,
it's a
George.
small amount for a county as big as we have here in the county. But if you'd like to make a contribution from an individual or a business or a church or the doctors or the lawyers, whoever it might be, you can make the checks payable to Friends of Law Enforcement and mail it to me, to my post office box, which is 10217, Goldsboro 27533.
All right, that's to Friends of
Friends
Law
of Law Enforcement.
Friends
Make
of
a
Law
check
Enforcement.
payable to Friends of Law Enforcement and mail it to me at
P.O.
my
Box?
post office box 10217.
10217.
Right, and its zip code's 27533.
All right.
And all the money that we raise, if we raise more than is needed to pay for what we have today, we will donate to charity.
All right.
Or possibly we'll just think about having it and making it an annual event and do it again next
I
year.
think that's a great idea. Let's do it every
So,
year.
Let's do it
All right.
every year. We'll look forward to doing that, and I don't see no reason if you and I are around, we can't do it next year.
Well,
I plan on being around.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
too.
me too.
I'm not going anywhere. All right,
Well,
George Williams, thank you, buddy.
Thank you,
I
my
appreciate
friend.
it.
I
Good to see
appreciate it, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your efforts, too.
We're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us. On today's What's Special About Today list, let's see, today is the 7th of the month. Can you believe we're already a week into September? September. Wayne Regional Agricultural Fair kicks off the end of this month.
Oh, I am so excited about the fair time.
You know, we have an award-winning fair.
Yes, we do.
They win so many awards in so many different areas. They do an amazing job. Eddie Pitzer, the head of everything out there, has an amazing staff. They get the job done, I'll tell you what.
That's right. That's right.
It is clean, and their first and biggest concern is safety at the fair. Cleanliness and safety. And if you go to the fair, you'll see why they win these awards. Anyway, today's the 7th. Today is Grandma Moses Day. And for those who do not know the name Grandma Moses, she's no longer with us, but she was a celebrated artist. She was a painter. And what made her famous, among many things, that she had a lot of talent, was the fact that she didn't start painting until she was in her 90s.
Wow.
So if you ever had a desire to do something and you say, I can't do that, I'm too old for that, well, that's baloney.
That's right.
I don't want to hear that.
Baloney.
Baloney, or bulloney. That's what that is. That's what that is. Anyway, do it. Do it anyway. She was 91.
That's great.
And she became very famous. Anyway, today is also National Attention Deficit Disorder Awareness Day. Very important. It's also National Ampersand Day. Do you know what an ampersand is?
I do.
An ampersand, yeah, I know you do. An ampersand is the and symbol. And, let's see, I was going to do it backwards, but yeah.
Oh, good
Okay,
job.
backwards. All right.
Backwards.
That's right. That's an ampersand. If you look on a keyboard, it's above the, is it the 7?
I don't know. Good
Is it
job.
7? It's above the 7. There you go. It's an ampersand. And why it has its own day, I have no
I don't
idea.
know, but it's your day, buddy.
I'm just wondering what day is the Octothorpe Day. And if you're not sure what that is, look it up. It is the word. But anyway, that's beside the point. Today is also Salami Day. Salami, salayu. Salami, the processed meat. It's also neither snow nor rain day, which of course is a reference to our postal service. And that's all there is about today, I guess. I'm sure there's more, but that's all we
That's all we've got.
Today's trivia question is as follows. Category for today's trivia question is, we'll use another name. Category. Anyway, there is the name Pansy. Pansy, a girl's name, was to be used for the lead character of a novel and a movie. A blockbuster movie, a novel movie. The name was Pansy, but the name Pansy was never used. They didn't like it. They turned it down. The people making the movie didn't like it. So they said, why don't we use something else? So what was the name used instead of Pansy to make this gigantic, blockbuster, famous, action, love story movie?
Do we get a clue?
The movie was from the first half of the 20th century, rather. The first half of the 20th century, which means it would have been made before 1950.
Okay.
Okay? All right. We'll have the answer for you in the next segment of this program. That's up next on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Today we welcome to the studio Garrett Ham with the Red Cross out of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base and Kathleen Pate. Hi, folks. How are you doing?
Well, nice to see you.
Great to have you with us. Garrett, you're back again here. It's been a while since we've seen you, but I appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely, love being
and you brought Kathleen with you.
We did.
All right. First of all, before we talk to Kathleen, talk to you about the Red Cross at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base.
Sure.
Tell me about it, and why do we have a Seymour Johnson Air Force Base Red Cross chapter? And how do you work with the local chapter?
Okay. The Red Cross on base is there to help service the members of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. The main thing we do and are known for across the military is our emergency messaging system. That's the 1877 number that if there's a emergency back home and the family needs to get the message to the service member, they call the Red Cross, and we help deliver the message through command. A lot of times they'll be granted leave. That's, of course, based on command discretion, but they can also get some financial assistance to make it home if they need to.
Oh, that's great.
And we're doing great things in the courts clinic on base as well. We're in there staffing volunteers. And we work with the chapter. We're integrated with the chapter. So even though we're on base, we're still connected to Wayne County off base as well and part of the community. So we do Veterans Day events. We work with the National Guard. We do a lot in the community as well.
You do work very closely with the local Red Cross chapter over on George Street.
Very much so.
Very closely. Might also add that people may be surprised to know how often you're called to contact service people overseas.
Yes.
Quite often.
We have, on average in Eastern North Carolina, 11 cases a day.
A day?
A day. And that's each case is about $68 to cover. So you can add that up throughout a year. We're providing a lot of financial assistance for military members. And that all comes through, donations and really the people helping out to
Man, that
help
really
service these
keeps
members.
you busy, doesn't it?
It does.
What kind of staff do you have here at Seymour Johnson?
Well, we have a volunteer staff. So
All volunteer staff.
all volunteer. We are
That's fantastic.
98% volunteers. I am the only staff member on base. We have a lot of staff here in Wayne County too, about 3 or 4. But we have hospital leads, outreach leads, and we're looking for those positions as well. So anybody that's credentialed or non-credentialed that wants to volunteer in the medical facility, they can come on down as long as they have base access, and we can get them signed up.
Anyone with base access, and that
Anyone.
would include, of course, separated from service.
As long as they're retired. Now, if you just did 4 years and got out and you don't have a base ID,
Then
unfortunately, but we do have some great volunteer opportunities out in town as well. So
Sure.
we would like to engage you, even if not in service armed forces and you wanted to be on the disaster action team or blood ambassador, you can do that as well.
And I tell you, and I know you know this, but Red Cross is so busy, people do not realize everything the Red Cross does. Red Cross, oh sure, they take your blood. But you do so many more things than that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we can talk about that in just a minute, but who is this lady with
This
you
is
here?
Kathleen Pate. She does the volunteer services. She covers Raleigh Triangle chapter, but she also, starting last November, started covering Seymour Johnson here.
Oh, that's great.
She's been a huge help.
That's I can imagine. Yeah. So tell me, what do you do, Kathleen? I mean, I know there's a title and all that, but tell me what your job is.
So I recruit, onboard and train volunteers. So everything from going out and getting to know the community and finding out how to get the word out, like coming on your show. And then I'm there to help the volunteers do the online application to on the base at the clinic. They do have some, medical screenings since it is a medical facility, and I
Right.
assist with that onboarding. And I'm there just as a resource for our volunteers. We want to give them as much support as possible, so I'm here purely to work with them and to help them.
Why would someone volunteer to help with the Red Cross? I mean, what do they get out of this?
I think the two biggest pieces, one, you feel like you're a part of something.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Cross is not just national within America, we're around the world. And so you're a part of something huge. And then the other piece is we're serving in such meaningful, hands-on way, in emergencies, in times of disaster. It's that humanitarian need, that CPR, the urgent need, those phone calls that Garrett was talking about.
Yeah.
It's when people need it most. And that's such an important piece, that we're ready when people need that.
So Kathleen, would you say that the Red Cross works in so many different areas, from disaster relief and giving blood and helping to contact? The volunteers are needed in all aspects of Red Cross.
Yes, absolutely. And things you wouldn't think about. I have a volunteer team that's 7 people who help me to recruit and train volunteers.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that's
Volunteers recruiting volunteers.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yes, so it's not just those hands-on ways. There's volunteers
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes. We have volunteers who answer the phone, at the George Street office.
Sure.
We just have a variety of folks who are going to home fires and assisting the clients, but
Yeah.
also people at home who are at their computers activating what we call the client assistant cards, that are essentially preloaded debit cards when we're trying to give any financial assistance that may be needed.
Yeah. When you mentioned home fires, if you just think about this for just a moment, what if something happened to your home and your home burned to the ground, and there you are with a family and children standing out on the side of the street? Where do you go? Who's going to help you? All your clothes are gone, your bedding is gone, your furniture. What do you do? Well, that's where the Red Cross comes in. The Red Cross helps you find shelter, brings blankets to you, they bring clothing, they bring vouchers for so many different things. You're not there by yourself. The Red Cross is there saving lives, helping people and saving lives. That's what you do.
Right.
And people who volunteer for the Red Cross get not only what you said a moment ago, but there's a lot of self-satisfaction there.
Absolutely.
Helping people. And that's what it's all about. You're saving lives is what you're doing, and you're recruiting volunteers, and these volunteers really get pumped up, don't they?
They do, and there were floods recently that have impacted Durham and Cary.
Yes.
And we opened a shelter, and despite the fact that those floods weren't all too well publicized and not too many people knew about them, but it mattered to the people who were impacted that the Red Cross cared.
Yes.
And were there.
And anytime you see a disaster on TV, you're going to see the IRV, the emergency response vehicle there, from some chapter, from somewhere. And the Red Cross works so closely together. And our own local Red Cross has a lot of volunteers who actually are trained when there is a disaster in the West, from fire to these big fires that they have in California, to mudslides, to of course the hurricanes up and down the East Coast. But there are people here who are trained to actually go to these, like the tornadoes in Oklahoma and Texas, and all up Tornado Alley there.
Recently, we had some volunteers up in West Virginia.
There you go.
Right, and it's based on need of who we send up. I know we sent our IRV, our emergency response vehicle, to a couple recent disasters, and so we needed 2 folks to drive those.
Right.
And Wayne, here in Eastern North Carolina and around the country, we're trying to combat the home fires by being a step ahead of it and preventative. So we have a program going on nationally called Home Fire Campaign. What that is, we're going out and canvassing neighborhoods to find out who needs smoke alarms, and we're going in and installing those smoke alarms for them free of charge.
Oh, really?
We even, go through and read to them, let them know what they need to know in case of a fire, how to get out, have an escape plan.
And it doesn't cost the homeowner anything.
No. In Eastern North Carolina this year, we want to install over 6,000 smoke alarms. Last year, we did over 5,000.
Wow.
So that's 11,000 in 2 years, and it's already come out that some of these people that have had them have had home fires, and it saved their life by getting that installed by the Red Cross.
Wow.
So if there's any organizations that want to be involved in that and come out and do a home fire campaign, they can contact the Red Cross and we'll make it happen.
It's a great opportunity for groups to volunteer that way.
Ah, good idea. Boy Scouts. Boom. There you go.
Absolutely.
Boy Scouts would be a great organization, or perhaps even volunteer fire departments could help, or even.
We have great partnerships with the fire department.
Oh, I know you do.
We really do.
Yes, you do. Yeah. Well, they understand. They're smart. They know what the Red Cross does.
Oh, absolutely. And we even have businesses that come out that just want to have a day of volunteering, and they come out and go out in the neighborhoods and install these smoke alarms.
And Garrett touched on something that anybody can do today is make it an emergency plan. So when you leave your home, if all the family members leave and go in different directions, you may not see each other.
Right.
So having that meetup point, having something like the neighbor's mailbox that you'll meet up at, and then maybe having one that's a little bit further away in case the fire also impacts your neighbor's house. So having two spots where you know you're supposed to meet up, and anybody can do that today.
There you go. Wow. Well, number one, we all love Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. We do, because they are us. They are Wayne County.
Absolutely.
They volunteer for so many things here in the county, and every function or event you see where volunteers are needed, there's somebody there from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, and most of the public just doesn't realize that. They don't know that because Seymour Johnson doesn't broadcast that.
Right.
They're just out there helping people and volunteering. They help tremendously with the Red Cross, more than people would realize, and we want to thank Seymour Johnson for that, but we want to thank you as well for the work you're doing, Garrett, and Kathleen, for the work you're doing as well, volunteering new recruits to work with the Red Cross and helping people and saving lives. That's what you do.
Absolutely.
So how do people volunteer? Why do they get in touch with you? What do they do?
So there's a couple different ways. They can contact either of us by phone or email. They can call the local chapter, or you can apply online at redcross.org/volunteer.
There you go, redcross.org/volunteer. I got it.
And we're in the Courts Clinic Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
All right, now that's the clinic on base.
That's the clinic on base. Those are our office hours, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but people can come in and volunteer in the pharmacy, women's health, physical therapy, and the lab. Now we're also looking for any credentialed volunteers that want to donate their time, whether it be doctors, nurses, physical therapists, or even mental health individuals that have those certifications that want to come in and just maybe donate a day, a couple hours. Like I said, as long as they have base access, we can get them in there.
That's great.
And we have a few that we've gotten in already, and it's really helping them out tremendously.
All right, redcross.org/volunteers, volunteer one, or 919-735-7201 is the phone number for the Red Cross on George Street. 919-735-7201. Garrett Ham, thank you, buddy. Good to
Thank
see
you,
you
Wayne.
again.
Good to see you,
Kathleen,
too.
nice meeting you. Kathleen
you.
Pate,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us. Today, Wednesday, it is the middle of the week, the 7th of September, moving along quickly. And a reminder that you can go to waynefair.com and get all the information you care to know about the Wayne Regional Agricultural Fair.
That's right. It's coming up.
Oh,
It's
man,
coming
I
up.
love
I'm
it.
excited. I'm excited.
I love it.
Can we share about this? This
Yes.
is hot off the press. I don't know if you
Yes.
can see it very well, but this is the latest and greatest Wayne County map.
Ooh.
The Wayne County Chamber of Commerce partners with the County of Wayne and the City of Goldsboro to ensure that the map is right. I'm not going to unfold the whole thing, but this beautiful thing can be yours.
Really?
And you can have it in your car and have one at home in the office, and they are available to you at no charge. You can get them at the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce building, which is also houses the Travel and Tourism building. But do let us know if you need some or if we need to drop some in the mail to you. But each year annually, we work to partner with to produce this map. You're getting very excited.
Well,
What
I
are you
love
looking at?
maps.
You do. Well, look, this is your copy.
Oh.
You get the first official copy.
For
We
me?
just got these in
Oh,
the mail.
gee. I'm going to go.
We just got these in the mail. And while he's looking at something, how about a plug for our local libraries here in Wayne
Oh,
County?
yes.
We had two of our newest members contacted Charity and said, we found a really cool picture while we were down at the library and we want to share it with you. And these gentlemen shared a photo of downtown Goldsboro. I believe it's on John Street, and I believe it was from 1917. I'll have to go back and look. I told Charity, I said, we need to get down to the library and dig up some more stuff. But it was a photo from 1917 down in downtown, and the streets were packed with these beautiful old cars, and there was a banner across, suspended, and it said, "Do it for Goldsboro, Chamber of Commerce." And it was like a banner from the early 1900s,
Wow.
and it said, "Do it for Goldsboro."
Chamber of Commerce.
Isn't that neat?
That is
Isn't that
very
neat?
neat. I love
So-
that. And I love the map. Yeah, I'm a map
Oh,
nut.
I should have showed him to this before we went on air.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's
Didn't know
okay.
you'd
That's
get so
o-
distracted.
well, I'm easily distracted. There you go. All right. When I was a youngster, every time we would stop for gas at a gas station, I'd run into the gas station and get, they used to have road maps. They give road maps
Sure, yeah.
at gas stations years ago. And I'd always go in and take 3 or 4, And I
Love a map.
I
Well,
do love
that
a
is
map.
your copy. I'll tell you, my dad, every year, he gets a new state of North Carolina map, and he puts it in my car. And I'm like, Dad, I've got GPS. And he said, well, what happens if that thing breaks? And I'm like, I guess you're right.
And you always have to update your GPS.
Yeah.
Yeah, because things are constantly changing.
That's right.
Yeah. GPS I used some time ago. I never updated, and some of the highways are missing.
Yeah.
So I'm going up a highway that's not there on the GPS, and it looks like I'm out in midair somewhere.
Wait, ready for it? Please make a U-turn. Please make a U-turn. I'm surprised mine hasn't yelled at me sometime being like, just turn around, woman. Please make a U-turn.
Our trivia question for today is, there was a famous novel and a famous movie made some years ago in the first half of the 20th century, and the lead character's name was going to be Pansy, but it was changed to something else. Pansy was not used, and the author wanted to use Pansy, but the people making the movie and all those people got together and said, no, we can't use Pansy. We'll use the name
Scarlet.
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 Scarlett O'Hara. That was the name that was used. And in fact, her dad during the movie, played by Thomas Mitchell, actually called her Katie at one point.
Really?
Yeah, but anyway, Katie girl.
Katie girl.
Yeah, but anyway, Scarlett O'Hara was the lead character. She and Rhett Butler, of course, played by, what's his name?
God, what a great movie.
Yeah, oh, I love the movie, yeah.
I haven't seen it. Have you seen it recently? Every
No,
once in a while, they'll re-air it.
I have not
Every
seen
once
it.
in a while. I haven't
seen
seen it in a long time.
It's a very long movie, but wow, and actually the historical facts in the movie are pretty close
Pretty close to
to
accurate,
being
yeah.
accurate, yeah. Atlanta burning and all that.
Right.
Which, by the way, that was a real fire in the movie. I think it was Warner Brothers, actually set fire to backlots of the movie sets. And those were real movie sets being burned in the background
Wow.
there in that movie. Anyways, a lot of history, a lot of trivia associated with that. That was the big novel by Margaret Mitchell, and there was a follow-up novel to be written, but that never really came to fruition. She was killed crossing the street in Atlanta, hit by a car, and died.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
she died. But somebody else has tried to write a follow-up novel, and that didn't come to pass either. So anyway, whole lot of trivia there about and that's just a small part of the trivia associated with Gone with the Wind. If you happen to read anything about it, you'll find it very interesting. Anyway, we got to go. We're out of time. We got to run. We'll do this again tomorrow. Hope you're able to join us at that time, 7 a.m., noon, or 5:30 p.m. So until then, I'm Wayne Alley,
And I'm Kate Daniels.
and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.